Oh, hello guys. I don't know how much editing this is going to be. We have a video on the way for us today, the one that you're seeing right now. A different style than what I typically do because I'm really annoyed with myself and I'm going to talk about it very brazenly with a lot of passion. And probably a lot of I'm just gonna go for it and just I feel strongly, so I'm probably just gonna use some curse words and bleep them out because I learned where kind of my boundaries are for making content. That's just something that I enjoy. But it's going to be a very much a tirade, and that's not my usual. So I didn't want to just come in hot with a video where I'm just ranting. Kind of. I think that's not adequate to say, but there's been some shifting taking place for a long time. Came to a head, and I'll explain that in just a second. I just needed to make sure I had this little introduction out of the way. I don't even know for sure what to expect, but I think we're gonna probably have a little bit of fire. Because I got some stuff to talk about, and I just wanna go for it. So here we go. And in this particular instance, you might imagine the different hair thing. We'll talk about that some other time. I want to talk about it now because I need to demonstrate and I need to set forth the rule of just the separation of my art is no longer me. When I identify too closely with the things that I'm creating, then I can't ever express fully what it is that I need to. So when I allow myself to be impassioned now, the way that I can liken it unto an art piece is I'm choosing to lean into the indignation I do in fact feel, but it's not indicative of my view of the world. I really frequently stop myself from expressing who I am because how I am in any moment is always a temporary thing. Everything is always temporary, and if I keep that going, then I will never fully express anything because nothing is permanent. I need to separate that out, and we'll worry about that some other time. But please receive the passion from this video as a little bit played up of some sort. I want to do introductions to explain more about what's going on. I have ideas in the future, which doesn't do me a lot of good if I can't fix some immediate problems. So let's talk about why I dumped out, what, $70 of alcohol, probably actually $80 all told, by the time I also put my THC vape pens. I had 3 different strains that were all about halfway done, used up or so. Um, and they all had different, one was for just different reasons. And I had old yogurt in my fridge that was expired by 3 weeks. So I put the vape pens in the expired yogurt along with my remaining ADHD medication that I've stopped taking since then. I was prescribed for a while. It's been a whole saga since then. I did not like how it made me feel, so I stopped taking it, and that was with the doctors yeah, sure, to see how you're doing, maybe you do need it or whatever. That was sanctioned. But by the time you've been prescribed stimulant medication that you decided to stop taking because you did not like how it made you feel, and you decide that you suddenly decide you do want to not feel the way that you do feel, then the effect of the medication becomes the desired effect. And so then if you're inconsistently taking prescribed medication, that's the line into substance abuse. So I also, into that container of yogurt, the remainder of the medicine that I'm not on anymore, but I still had, because that's when you enter into substance abuse, which is where you enter into extraordinary amounts of paranoia, which was highlighted to me yesterday when I did a completely ordinary thing and fell down a multi-hour rabbit hole convinced I had made a tremendous mistake. That's a lot of paranoia. I had a tremendous moment of paranoia, and something has to stop. Something has to change. I'm making a few changes now. To set the scene. Is that trying to put on too much production? I always come into these video first, not always, but I want this to be just an honest, genuine expression of self. I don't know that I want to set the scene. It was about 1,100 maybe milliliters, I think, of liquor. It was a almost entirely new bottle of whiskey, bourbon. I had bought because mom and dad are out of town, and I have the house to myself. And that means I can VTube. I can be a little kitty cat, I can be in VR, and I can film, or I can be on stream, and I don't have to worry about, are my parents upstairs to be able to overhear me, and I can do what I do anyway, but I just can't be as freely expressive as a gay, insane cat online when my parents are around. Like, that's just hard, but it's important for me to do. I've been looking forward to this week of just having the capability to just fully express me and not be worried about it. I enjoy drinking. I'm an alcoholic. So I bought a bottle because I thought that would be a lot of fun. And I'm willing to bet somewhere in the energy drinks, the inconsistency of substance use across several instances, and the alcohol, the hangovers, the going back out. There's been 2 times in, I think, 2 weeks that I went to the into the city an hour. I drove an hour south because I have friends there. I went to a party where I was drinking and took a nap before driving an hour north to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I've done that twice. The last time was lovely. I did that 3 nights ago, maybe. I went to the bar, wasn't expecting it. It was just like a following through on whimsy thing, right? But if that's fueled at all by paranoia and by clouded thoughts, there's good whimsy, and then there's I don't know for sure, but it hasn't been right. And I feel like I've been lacking in sobriety under the banner of this is gonna help me either loosen up and receive something, or this is going to help me be more mellow so I can, like, whatever. I don't know. But I'm willing to bet that with my already messed up brain chemistry, that, you know what? The ups, downs, the alcohol, the stimulants, the depressants, no. Willing to bet that's not helping. The lack of sleep, the lack of water, the lack of exercising, just the regular human things, human stuff, man. I'm willing to bet the diet problem. I get to eat food at work because I'm bitch ass poor, and it doesn't help when I spend, $50 on alcohol and just dump it out, but that was like important amounts of money to me. It doesn't matter. Oh. There's a lot which is fundamentally unaligned, and I don't want that to be the case. But so long as I'm dumping out 1 1/3 bottles of liquor, 3 partially used THC cartridges, and medication I'm no longer actively prescribed because I'm making some changes. I want to go proper into the new changes, and I am. You guys will never believe what I did last night. What started this whole thing and got me on my paranoia trip when I recognized there's actually something extraordinarily wrong. You guys won't believe it. It's the craziest thing. I was at a public instance. Public. And I was hanging out in my hammock because it had been a long day. It had been Esperanto Club, and I took a nap, and then it was Esperanto Club Session B, and then Satan was like, "You look so sleepy," because my eye tracking, whatever. It doesn't matter. Stay the course. Stay the course. I was really tired. I was relaxing in my hammock. That's great. And I went to a campfire that was cozy, and I asked a nice gentleman, "Is it okay if I lay on your chest?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, sure. I'm used to that. Like that's fine." He said, "Sure." I did that. And that's fine. There was some light participation in the group. Mostly it was fun just being around people and just being social in a very pure and clean way. You would not believe the number of problems that caused my psyche. Granted, my ex was there, Spec was there. That's the closest we've been in proximity since we broke up. So maybe there's something there that's a hard thing to confront or address or whatever, but that was fine. I wasn't sitting in my hammock on a furry's chest by a campfire in VR in full body, and sitting there thinking actively, like, man, if I can just bear through this, I want to be strong. I want to be able to make this. Even though Spec is there. No. I just wanted to hang out by the fire in a public instance nearby friends. For the first time. Several times. I've been not looking at the instance list to see like, oh, is Spec there? I'd better not go. It's like, no. Is one of my friends there? Am I able to join them? I feel like joining on my friend. And it doesn't matter who else is there. I've been doing that. That's fine. I thought it was fine. And there were other people. Like, it was just a group of people who I like. People who I look up to. Who I have looked up to since I started playing Resonite a year and a half ago. These are people who I like. And I went around a circle, around a little campfire, which was surrounded by people who I like, who have never shown me any active or inactive, like, they've never shown me, like, Phineas, we don't want you around. Like, no one has ever said that. I've never made a video and anyone's ever been like, hey, you should take that down. I don't appreciate that. No one has ever said that. Except for exactly once. It was a private video I sent to someone that went wrong. That's all we're going to say about that. But people tend not to unappreciate what I do or who I am. To my face, at least. I don't know that they should. I think I'm okay, for the most part. Kind of. Sometimes I'm batshit insane. Sometimes I have to throw away $70 of substances because I don't trust myself. Not to just get or yell at a camera and post it to YouTube old school style. I do crazy things. I'm a crazy person. But nobody, if memory is correct here, nobody has ever said to me, Phineas, you're crazy. I think one person has. I think Spec pointed out to me point blank. I told him my dreams, and more than once. One time he called me high and mighty. He did that on the day we said goodbye in VR, which was the last time we spoke to each other in any capacity up until last night when I laid down on a nice man's chest after he gave me permission, and I was having a hard time resizing, and Spec said, Phineas, here's a little thing that can help, a tool that can help you resize more with more finesse. I was like, oh, hey, thanks, I appreciate that. So that's a pretty normal interaction. That's great. But one time he had called me high and mighty, and one time he had called me, I think, holier than thou. Several times he called me the most egotistical person he knew. I don't know if narcissist came into the equation or not. I do have some, like, I think I'm pretty cool, but by the time that you're just expressing your heart to someone who you care closely about, and I don't just, here's what I seek to accomplish. What you guys, like, just, when you're expressing yourself plainly, openly, and honestly just being yourself, it's a bummer when that's misreceived. But that's deeply uncommon. I speak myself in this channel. I have not particularly said much in the real world to real people that I haven't said here. I'm comfortable here. This is fine. People watch what I do and seem for it to be fine. There's been a few instances where I have not seemed fine. People have reached out and been constructive. And I was like, oh, okay then. It's happened twice. 3 times. There's people who are looking out, and through all of it, there's not been any indications of my art from people who consume what I do, and I put myself so much into everything that I do. So to the extent that people who consume my art are also consuming true pieces of who it is that I am, nobody has problems with that. Nobody has said that. No one has really given an indication that I'm not welcome in places that I go. Usually, when I show up somewhere, someone comes and says hi. And the dumb thing is, there's many. I've been really coy for a long time about things that I would like to be able to say, but I'm precious about it. And I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or say the wrong thing. I have a feeling that that degree of worry on the inside is what helps bring about tremendous paranoia after doing something so completely ordinary. And I don't want to be afraid anymore about doing ordinary ass things. When I had just moved, I have permission. That's important for me to disclaim. When I had just barely moved in with Spec, I stepped on a tremendous landmine. What are you going to do? I'm a very stupid person. I fucked up. And I was almost kicked out less than a week into living with Spec. I haven't spoken about that. I haven't said that, except for, I think, to 2 people. I've wanted to, and I've been so cagey about, wow, my relationship messed me up. Yeah! It was right at the peak of starting to get comfortable with streaming in Resonite and being more social in Resonite and being myself. I went through the whole journey on this channel, 2 years of being myself. And then falling in love as myself gave me an experience of young love that I didn't have. I never had a high school fling. I'm getting off base a little bit, but that was a very precious time. And when I felt very safe and secure because I felt like I had chosen someone good, we just weren't compatible. He's a great person. It was fun hearing him at the campfire, just casually. He's smart. He's fun to listen to. He cares. We just were not a good in-person match. And being deeply rejected 5 days into the new life which I had selected, was all in on, had been so excited for, I fucked up in a really big way, and the fallout had me isolate because I was unwanted by the only person I knew in the state who I had moved 2,000 miles to be with. That made it very hard to feel any amount of being desired. And I hardcore slammed away from being comfortable being myself to don't express yourself, stay safe. That's fine. I've been through worse. I was married to the wrong gender for 7, 8 years. I've heard much worse throughout that time span. That was a very damaging time. I've experienced death a few times. There's been a lot of bad experiences, a lot of which I had a hand to play in because I'm very stupid. I cause a lot of my own problems. This one has been hard. Caught myself making a video again. Come on, be honest, stay true, stay true. I haven't talked about that with anybody because I would not want Spec to be looked down on for reacting the way he did when I absolutely fucked up. And I wouldn't want to infringe on his relationships, on his good times. So I stay quiet about the things I've experienced, and then I wonder why I feel so alone. And I've tried multiple times telling multiple people this, and I can't. I just can't. Not to mention that it's weird, because at the fire, little campfire I was so excited about, right? About 1/3 of them were people, there was 1 or 2 I just hadn't seen before, but the others, like, it was people who I would want to get to know better. And they're from that same golden period where we were becoming familiar all together, and that's just familiar faces. You can strike up conversations, get to know people better. We were becoming friends. And I hardcore isolated. Spec had maintained the trajectory that we both were on, and he got friends. I have every instinct, the deepest desires. When I'm trying to talk with anybody here who I knew last summer, but we were not friends yet. Anyone I was friendly with or just in the same circles or whatever before everything happened, before Spec and I want to tell every single one of them, hey, by the way, here's something that, like, I've been strange. Here's what's been going on internally. Like, I want to clear the air, but it's only my air. I don't even talk about this. It's my air. I don't need to clear the air with whatever shit video it was that I made a few weeks ago about, like, a peer. I was talking with a peer who's like, he felt bad for me at karaoke. He didn't know how to feel. That he had seen me cry in my videos because I just do that. I like emotional expressions. It's my favorite thing. He said he felt so bad for me at karaoke. Because I've talked about that. It's a hard place for me to go to. Whatever. I want to clear that air, not with the people who I would have wanted to be able to know had my relationship not gone and I'd been slammed hardcore into survival mode. Because it... That's a demon I grapple with constantly. Every time I'm in VR, I'm still figuring it out. And still learning, is it okay if I'm here? Because past experiences have taught me that it's not okay for me to be here. Here, whatever that means. Whatever. Now there's something very important. This demonstrates part of the paranoia. We'll get back to the paranoia. This is a very important part. Because I've been very brazen about parts of my relationship that I haven't been clear and honest about to this point. Because I'm concerned for Spec. I want to pay respect to that. Respect to that. I still can't say the word without thinking. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So, the number of times I got permission to make videos about anything, about this, about that, about how we broke up, how honest can I be? And then it was like a little bit cagey at first. And it's like, no, the relationship is dying in the last week or two before I moved, which was hellacious. We broke up, and then there was a month where I slept upstairs in the bedroom. He slept downstairs on an air mattress. No, it was just like a mattress that was on the floor in like some front room area. I slept upstairs. The second I woke up, I would go downstairs and go into the VR shed and throw myself into my work to distract myself into like VTubing, into making videos and trying to do what I do. Until I had to go to work, I would come back and go directly back into the VR shed until I could hopefully sleep in the shed unless it was too cold because the heater couldn't really keep up all of the time with the extremely cold winter. And usually what would happen is I would do everything I could in the truck until I just had to go inside to sleep, and then I would go directly upstairs. Spec would be in the front room, almost always on the couch in plain view of the front door. So I would be exhausted by not sleeping very well, being emotionally deep in survival mode. And I would come inside and he would be there. One time, obviously cuddling with somebody, and it's like, well, that's, we stopped doing that. In person was never really a thing. There was a lot of physical non-compatibilities. We did our best. But after being physically rejected, I was not able to separate out that in VR it's okay. And our relationship didn't last long enough to maybe see if that could have worked or not. There was just enough incompatibility there. So it hurt walking in and seeing him on more than one occasion cuddling other people in VR. And when he got face tracking, the add-on, the clip-on face tracker for his Quest 3 fucked me up. Because that wasn't something that we did together. And I imagined him just hanging out with his VR friends, and we were not VR friends, or anyone that he was cuddling with, and I was not really cuddling with anyone because I just still feel that's really precious to me. I'll talk about that some other time. And I received that he was doing things with other people, and I was doing everything I could to survive, trying to live in a shed in winter, and succeeding, pulling it off, doing well. I think it was the day of the face tracking. When I saw the face tracking, I was being sober during this, by the way. For the first, I think, for a while, I was in a lot of distress and I wanted to be able to make it out on my own way. I wanted to be very clear-headed as I moved forward in a challenging time. And was doing pretty good, staying busy, keeping my mind off things, just one day at a time. It's going to be okay. And when I saw that face tracking, I think is what I think it was that, and he was cuddling with someone, and it just set me off so outrageous. I could not do it. That I went to the shed late at night. Slept in the shed. It was very cold, so I didn't sleep very much. But I cracked open a bottle of whiskey, which was a housewarming gift we had received, but we just had never broken into it. And so I took a bottle out to the shed with me, broke I think it was probably a 1 or 2 month streak of sobriety because I was really trying to be healthy. I was trying to advance in positive ways as I went through something challenging. I drank myself silly while I played Tetris VR so I could desperately try to forget what I had seen and the way that it made me feel. I woke up and I did it again. I don't need to clear the air with anybody else. Not even with Spec. We just weren't a good fit. We both had a lot of things going on internally. That is another example of me finally saying something that I have not said for a very long time. Even though it's things I've been dying to say because I felt really alone for a long time. And I haven't known how to answer people when they say why have you been a bit absent, or struggling with VR or anything like that, which is uncommon. I just haven't been around. I don't talk with very many people here. I'm trying to make that different because I live here, for crying out loud. I'll talk about that some other time too. And I don't say any of the things that I've been talking about because of Spec. And on every point, I brought up, I don't think I actually asked permission to, like, hey, can I talk about the Tetris story about, like, when I walked in and you had the tracking? Because that's just a me thing. I don't think I need permission to say that. But definitely the who can I talk to about the first week of me moving in and that horrible time, and then the other details of our breakup, and the number of times strictly coded, do whatever you want, does not matter, make whatever video you want, what details can I share, do whatever. Like, that's been said so many times, and I think that speaks to just different circuitries of people. The things I say mean a tremendous amount to me, and they affect Spec differently. So I guard very jealously the things that I would want to say out of fear that they would hurt someone who has said so specifically, it doesn't fucking matter. So I'm not, like, betraying confidence. It's just very important for me to make sure that's known. That ties in finally to the campfire moment, because it wasn't I'm next to my ex-boyfriend and I'm freaking out internally. It was only when I went upstairs to eat some food and watch some TV that I got so strictly paranoid. Because when I was laying in my hammock atop the chest of a nice furry who I would like to be friends with, I asked, is it okay if I lay on your chest? And he was like, oh yeah, sure. I did that. And then when I was done, I went upstairs and I had this most intense sensation of, I shouldn't have done that. Why'd I do that? What if they didn't want me around? I did that for about 3 hours. I was locked in a stupor, about 2 to 3 hours, before I finally reached out to a friend who I knew could have insight. It was my brother-in-law who helped me through what was going on in my head. Because a guy gave me permission specifically to lay on his chest, which I did, and then I fell down a 2 to 3 hour rabbit hole about what if actually he was lying? What if he did not want me on his chest? And what if the people who I was on the path to getting to know better a year ago actually don't want me around? And it's like, no, that's something you learned from one person. Leave everyone else out of it. And I'm seeking still connections. The human meat vessel needs some. I've been going out more. It cuts into my VTubing time, but it's kind of important for the human meat vessel. And I've been doing more things online, more club activities. We'll talk more about that some other time. But I crave connection pretty intensely, and I think while I have all of this unclear emotionality, I will never be able to connect with people, to grow deeper connections with the people I do know in an auxiliary capacity, or to be fully myself with new people I meet. I can't clear air with individual. Like, no one is responsible for that. And most of the clouded air I feel between me and any given person is because I am clouded. There's steps I'm taking to fix that. Starting today, where I dumped out a bottle and a third of liquor, threw away 3 partially used THC cartridges, and the remainder of medication which I was no longer actively prescribed for. I also made this video talking about plain experiences which I have expressed permission to talk about, because these are all things which have been holding me back. And I will never again be in a position where I'm laying on the chest of a man, furry, in a public instance by a campfire, being real cozy, and so paranoid at the end of it for doing something regular. I have high confidence that yesterday was absolutely normal. I was not normal. That's fine. I'm not normal. And whether I make a video like this or not declaring me, that doesn't change the fact that I'm not normal. And I'm so worried about expressing myself really honestly, because what if people see that I'm not normal? Buddy! There's a lot of ways to take that. The way I'm taking it is, whether you express your abnormalities or whether you keep them on the inside does not change the fact that that is who you are. Not that it's a bad thing. I like being abnormal. I like being a little bit strange. You get to have some fun when you're a little bit strange. You get to meet some cool people. You get to learn some cool things. Life tends to take off in really fantastic ways. I've learned that the more I am myself, the more I lean into what is natural for me, what my inclinations are, just the things I want to do, typically speaking, the better things become. And that's good. That's good. Hopefully I can be done harboring on some of this, because there's more things. I gotta say, there's more air to clear. And this is enough for now. Thanks for hanging out. No. Can I do this? I think maybe actually at this point I will do the we'll take a moment. Let's go ahead and allow this. Yeah, we had our introduction. We had a moment. And now let's close it out. That all was a few lifetimes ago. I moved in the very end of December, so I've been living where I am now for not quite 4 months, and a lifetime has already passed since then. So broke up, I moved here. There was a chapter. And so like it's not like we're okay. I'm like I, I don't know. I don't need to make this. I don't. Like I decide to cuz it's in my head and a little bit in my heart, and so I wanted to do something with all of that. And so I did. I kind of had fun. I never, it's so rare for me to let myself go all in. So that was pretty good. I liked that a lot. But I want to. No, I don't want. No, because I don't want to bring in negative things. Because like I spend a lot of time being negative, man. I don't gotta do that. So if I make a video where it's like, hey, here's all my negative things, then it's like, man, don't only be negative. But you need to allow that to be the case so you can appreciate all the other things that are also going on. It's that whole nonsense, right? Like I'm trying here. I'm doing. I'm doing. I'm not trying anything. I'm doing. I'm making a YouTube channel. I have had one for 2 years, and I'm just utilizing it in the way it was always meant to be. I'm doing. I'm growing. Right now. I'm trying to be better. No, I am being better. Every day. That's something I'm doing now. I'm just doing that now. I need to be honest. And if, in my head, I know things are fragmented. I know that how I'm feeling in any moment is temporary. It will pass. You can live your life anyway. You can go to parties even when you're very sad, because mood states are temporary. You can't control how you feel, but you can control what you do about it. You can control your actions, and you can control more or less what thoughts you latch onto and which ones you allow to pass. What I chose to do in this moment was dump out my alcohol and express what I was feeling rather than drink alcohol to suppress what I was feeling. That was a scary thing to do because I'm worried how people might react. Or I'm worried that people might think the situation is more serious than it is because I'm chillin'. I like editing videos. I like make something, edit it, upload it. I like figuring things out. I like Esperanto. I'm figuring stuff out. It's having some fun. So if I make a really peak moment, like we just had, I don't know if you were talking like peak. Like I don't know. I feel like I got fired up, but it was it feels like it was forever ago. It's not a big deal. It was kind of fun. It was kind of fun. Yeah. I don't know. Because things are okay too. And they're more okay than they're not okay. It's just that sometimes things are not okay, and that needs to be okay. So for a little bit, things were not okay, and we saw that, and we had some fun with it. I think. Hopefully, we had some fun with it. I had some fun because that was fun. I like some good emotional expression. So we had some, and it was so good. And hopefully, we're feeling a little bit better because I'm feeling like me, whatever that even means. But sometimes I clock into VR and I have a hard time feeling worthy of being a cat or a squirrel or whatever. But that has been happening far less frequently, and we're more comfortable than we have been for a very long time. That's kind of fun, and I needed to make sure you guys knew that also. Instead of just all of the other things we were talking about, it's like, nah, we're doing okay. A while ago, things were a little dodgy. But yeah, we're doing night. I hope you're doing good. I hope that today is everything you ever dreamed it would be. Because my day is everything I dreamed it would be, except for I dreamed that I would be not sober by now, which is why I am sober. Again, I love quitting alcohol. It's my favorite thing to do. Bye, guys.